Hello everybody, welcome to a Junk Journal with me video. This one is kind of a bit of a Daphne's Diary special video. I treated myself to a couple of bits from the Daphne's Diary shop, and I also thought I would just start the video by flipping through the bits to show them to you. Just to say as well, I have no affiliation whatsoever with Daphne's Diary. We have to say that sort of thing now as YouTubers. This was all purchased with my own money and blah 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 blah. So the first thing is this paper scrapbook block or something it's called. It's basically the size and shape and the same material, paper material as their magazine, but it was just all pattern paper, double-sided. It's really, really beautiful. And then there's the Handmade with Love, like special edition of their magazine that they brought out because of, everything that's going on, and so many countries were in lockdown and everything. So it's like lots of things to make and do. There are like puzzles and colouring and memory games and stuff, and I'm not interested in that kind of thing personally. I just won't do it. I don't like colouring, I don't like dot to dot, I don't like any of that, but I'll just use all the things as stuff to put in my journal and other crafts and stuff. So I'm just sharing that. Just to let you know, I did buy direct from Daphne's Diary shop, which is based in the Netherlands, so the postage to the UK is a little bit pricey. I don't know what it is to like the European mainland. It's probably a little bit cheaper. And then outside of Europe, I have no idea. It might be quite a lot. I don't know, but just as a warning, a good third of my total price was the postage and packaging. But anyways, so just finishing off showing you the magazine itself there. And then they have on their website loads of freebie printables, so I just thought I'd show you those as well. I'll link the section of their website that has all the freebies as well. And just to say, it's not just like the postcards and paper freebies that I've printed as well, like those little ones where there was like 6 per page. They were like a project to make bunting or little pom-poms or something like that. I can't remember, but I just printed one side of the moth that didn't have the instructions and marks and stuff, and I could just use them as little tags or something. And the last two things I showed you, that last large poster looking thing and the bookmarks, they were freebies that came with my order, so I'll be able to use all of this again in all my journaling and other crafts. So for the first little spread, there were those little colour your world postcards with the buildings on, and I had also recently, I got a bit spendy after last payday. This is why there's all these new things. I bought myself a load of new ink sprays. I got some Dina Wakley gloss sprays and some new colours of Distress Oxide sprays. And when I get new things like that, I really like to swatch them in my journal. So again, I thought those Colour Your World postcards would be really, really good for that. On the blank page, I just pulled out one of the printables that I thought went quite nicely with the page that was already there, and just using some washi to cover up that awkward white edge. And then I'm going to use the reverse of those postcards to do my swatches. These are the Dina Wakley gloss sprays, which I am painting on rather than spraying, because when you spray them they really sort of spray everywhere. But I didn't gesso that postcard, so they do quite sink in to the card there, like you're not really getting the full colour. So I did a couple of layers, but you get a rough idea of what they look like. So I thought it looked cute with like a brush swatch and then some splatters as well. The colours are, I think it's eggplant, turquoise, marine, night, and then I wasn't going to do the white one, but then I was like, but I want to include it, it's my new thing, I want to have a swatch of it. So with the white one, what I did was grab just a little scrap of black card, and then I just glued it in the place so I could do, as I said, the white swatch as well. So once I had done all of those swatches, I then gave them a little bit of a dry and then just wrote the colour names. And yes, I think at one point I did also struggle with spelling the word turquoise. Like, it's one of my favourite colours. You'd think I would know how to spell it, but we call it fibro fog. Sometimes your brain just stops and you can't think of the most obvious things and you forget how to spell really obvious words, or words that you spell all the time. But anyway, once that was done, because on the other side you have those houses, and I think the intention of those is for you to colour them in, but as I mentioned before, I don't really like colouring in. It's just not something that I enjoy doing, so I thought I would just I did want to add colour to it, so I thought I'd just add big splatters of the same inks that I've swatched on that same postcard. Although after a while I was like, the splatters are too delicate, so instead I just kind of dropped big blobs of the paint on there instead. So setting that aside to dry, I'm going to grab the other matching postcard and do my new Distress Oxide sprays. I got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already have a fair few, but I just, as I said, I was feeling spendy and there were some colours I really, really wanted. And just to make this, you know, just to make the swatch page a little bit different from the other one, I'm spraying these directly on and doing them in slightly different sizes as well. I just think it looks a bit more fun and interesting. I think I've got the colours Tea Dye, Tattered Rose, Old Paper, Speckled Egg, the new one, and Milled Lavender, I'm going to say. And then again, I'm going to write those names on there. I did the first two, and then I thought, well, actually, it'll look cute if I like write it around the spray, the circle of spray, but I didn't really do it on the first two, but I think I kind of got away with it. And then on both of the cards, I also wrote like what the sprays were and when I bought them, so adding the date as well. And then same on this card, on the front, I'm going to add a load of splodges and splatters. And I actually did this off camera because I was waiting for my camera to like transfer footage over to my computer, but I kind of was tapped the postcard on its side a few times, which made those splodges move around, and you'll see when it's dry they're not just circles, they're kind of moving around. And it's also a really interesting thing about doing these swatches was that I found out that those colours that I bought actually go together really, really nicely, and they're not necessarily colours that, had I not done the swatches, I would put together, if you know what I mean. But doing those swatches, I went, oh, actually, that's those 5 colours actually make a beautiful combination. So there we go. So I tipped those into either page, but then I realised, because I wanted those 2 postcards like opposite each other, so the Colour Your World writing was opposite on either side, that meant I'd put in the right side one completely upside down, and it actually took me ages to notice. I mean, it's really obvious looking at it on camera, but it was only at this point I went, oh look, I've put that in upside down. What a numpty. So I put it in the other way so it wasn't upside down, but I didn't like the way that looked, so I decided instead to have it in a way that the cards, when you look at them that way, are opposite, and then I tipped it in at the bottom so that it will flip out, you know, vertically rather than horizontally, and then it won't be upside down. And yeah, that was quite a rambly, convoluted way of explaining that. You can see what I mean. And then I just used another scrap of one of the printables and just wrote the journaling about how I was getting spendy and buying lots of inks and stuff. Then just using some little washi tape around that to kind of look like the washi tape is keeping that attached there. It just adds a little bit of interest. And then I just needed something on that left side page. I mean, it's a beautiful paper. It doesn't really need anything, but I just felt like it needed to look like I'd done something to it. So I just used another scrap and then a new stamp of mine. I think it's a Tim Holtz stamp that says always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. And then I think that's all I do to those pages. So they're very, very simple, but I just think they look really, really, really pretty. As I said, I really love the way I did the swatches of the oxide, so I may do that again in future. So for this next spread, I didn't have any plan at all. I just grabbed the magazine and pulled out some things I thought I would use. I pulled out the little intro from the first page that says like what the magazine is about, like why it's a handmade one, why the theme is handmade. Anyway, and I pulled that out in English and German just because I really love the German language. I'm not great at it, like certainly not conversational, but it's one of those things I can kind of read it and have a good comprehension of what's going on. So yeah, I thought I'd just have both of those because I said just like the German language. And then I pulled out that page, which I just thought was really, really pretty. And I thought if I folded it in half, then it just will make an extra page. I didn't really like the thing on the left side is the back of a birthday card, and I didn't really like the back of that, so I was totally okay with completely covering it. But on the other side of that piece that I cut out from the magazine was like a bit of colouring or something that I wasn't interested in, so I cut out this sort of, I think it's just supposed to be like an inspirational idea, like how to make yourself a inspiration board or a pin board or whatever with bottle corks, something you would probably see on Pinterest, but I thought it would look cute on the other side of that. And I was just showing you there, I did take it off to my sewing machine and just do a stitch all around the edge, because I just thought it would look nice with that particular pattern, like it looks like some sort of materially tapestry sort of something. So I just thought that layer of stitching would look nice. As you can see, there is a paper clip there. That needs to be there for something on the other side of the page. So when I glued it down, I glued it underneath the paper clip so I could still use that for something, and then you wouldn't get an ugly bump over the paper clip. And here I'm just using random scraps of what I've already ripped out of the magazine. For example, this blue stuff I'm ripping here was, I think, going around that cork board sort of picture, so I thought that would look nice to back one of those little blurby things that I ripped out. The one in German I ripped slightly bigger, it was also slightly longer as well, so I thought I would have that one on the bigger page, like the really pretty. I just really love that patterned paper. I think it's really, really gorgeous and very, very sort of junk journal aesthetic, if you get what I mean. But I didn't want it like on its side, I wanted it completely horizontal, so I'm just sort of using a bone folder to fold the right part of it so it will just fold in the right place and stuff on that page. And then I think I just ripped out another couple of bits from the magazine, like I ripped out some, well, not ripped out, I cut out these really beautiful tags. There's a mix of materials in the magazine, so while most of it is paper, there is some stuff that is card, and like these tags are on very, very shiny, sort of very lightweight cardstock, but yeah, with that shiny finish. And then that round thing is supposed to be a thing that you put around the base of the stem of a wine glass or something, but again, I don't really do things like that from these magazines. I just like the pretty papers. I'm very simplistic in that way. But that little thing there that has the yellow circle, that was just like a little thank you note that came with my order, so I thought I would include that. And yeah, as you saw, I just used some random ripped up bits to back that. Then I'd almost forgotten about the English part of the magazine introduction, so I quickly threw that in, and then I just saw this scrap of ribbon on my desk and I thought that would look cute and add a different texture to the whole thing. So it's all really simplistic. I'm just going to write journaling here about me buying the diary, and because the tag says to and from, I put to me, from me. And I'm having to use a ballpoint on that rather than my usual beloved fountain pens because of that shiny surface. Nothing but a ballpoint was going to work. But yeah, as I said, really simple, lots of white space, which is something I'm trying to use more at the moment. Like, not necessarily on every page, on every project, but yeah, I just want to start playing around and experimenting with a bit more white space in my journal and stuff. And that, again, that background was so pretty, I thought, let's just not cover the whole thing up with stuff. Although I did just pull out these little sort of die cut pieces from the magazine, like a girl and a bike and these little trees, just to add a little something extra to those pages. So for my last spread, I chose these pages, which, as you can see, are already quite colourful, and as there was very much a bluey purpley theme going on, I went through the paper block and found these lovely feathers that I thought I would fussy cut, and they're in that kind of bright blue and purple tone. Here is Conan to put his fluffy butt on my stuff, because he has to put his fluffy butt on all of my stuff. When I say fluffy butt, I really do mean it though. He's a very fluffy cat, and the top of his back legs are so fluffy that we call them his little pantaloons. But anyway, that was a side ramble about my cat's butt. Let's go back to the journal now. So anyways, yes, I fussy cut those feathers from the paper block, and I've just put them on that purple page. And I cut out a tag. This is from one of the printables because it had purple on the front. A purple, what's the flower? I can't see. Come back into shot, Grace. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rubbish with flower identification. But I didn't like what was on the back of that tag for this particular project, so I found some lovely green paper, like chevron, with a chevron pattern, and I've just backed it with that. And then I'm just going to punch my hole, of course, because it's a tag, so I have to put some twine in it, because that's the rules. And I wanted to make myself a little pocket to put said tag in, so that's the little paper, like mini paper book that comes in the magazine. I had trouble finding something purpley blue for that actually, but there was this which has sort of like the grapes and hydrangea sort of flowers on there, so I just added double-sided tape to 3 sides of that to make a little pocket. And then I remembered when I put those feathers down, I remembered I had this like watercolour feather washi tape which I wanted to include, and it looked fine at the bottom of the pocket there, but where I put it on the top of that purple page, it just doesn't look very nice, does it? No. So I've removed that. I grabbed another one of those blue scraps that had been pulled out from the magazine just to put up the top for, you know, just no reason really, just to have something there. And then I think I put some of that feather washi down the bottom and up the side because I really wanted to include it. It's just, it was a case of finding the right place to put it. I think I also, because I'd made that pocket that the tag is in out of just paper, it wasn't very secure, it felt a bit flimsy, so I do go and add a little bit of washi tape to the top of that just to make it just a little bit, as I said, more secure. On the back of that tag there, I was just writing that quote, you know, the Emily Dickinson quote, the one, the hope is the thing with feathers quote. I just thought that would go because it has the feathers on the other page. That's the only reason I chose it. Adding a pretty rub on to the back there, again trying not, leaving a bit of white space and just adding a few things like that little butterfly sticker, another little butterfly sticker on the other side, a little bit more washi tape for added areas of interest. And then I think once I'd done that, I was just like staring at these pages and I'm not happy at all. So I decided just to do some straight journaling straight down on that purple page. But once I'd done that, the way I had gone across the feathers with my journaling, I'd left this awkward gap on the left side, so I'm just covering that up with some teeny weeny tiny little acetate stickers just to make that gap look a little bit less awkward. And yep, there we go, it is finished. I'm just flipping through my pages here so you can see them again. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching. Again, as I said, no affiliation with Daphne's Diary whatsoever, but I will link the shop where I got the stuff from and the free printables as well as all my regular junk journal links and stuff like that. Right, yes, okay, that's quite enough from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up and chat to me down in the comments. I'm gonna go. Thanks again. Bye bye.